Hey, can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Hey, you guys. I was just trying to post some stuff in the chat, so bear with me. But welcome, Mike and Isaac and ASG. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good, good. How you doing, Cher?
I'm good, thanks. Doing good. All right, Mike, are you familiar with how a space operates or you need a little run through?
A slight run through. So, like,
Perfect.
the mic is on thing. Do I leave it on the whole time, or do I need to mute myself, or how does it work?
Um, I would prefer if you shut it off if you're not speaking, just because of the feedback that we get sometimes and the background noise. It's amazing what the microphone actually picks up in a space. It's crazy. But I will tell you, down at the bottom where you turn your mic on and off, next to it is a little wand, like a magic wand. Though if you press on that, it's sound effects within this in this space, which we of course try to stay away from. Next to that is a little icon of two people, and that just tells you who's in the space and what their role is within the space. The next to that is a little heart, and that's where you can throw up some emojis in the space. The audience is really good about that, so we leave it up to them. And next to that is a pair of scissors that you can clip a soundbite from the space using those scissors. Over to the far right is what many call the purple pill, and that's the chat for this space. So we try to check it every so often because some folks will put a comment or ask a question in that chat, and we like to address it live before we leave. Sometimes we don't see them because there's glitches here in the spaces, but we do our best to answer those questions and comments in that chat. Like I'm just trying to put something that Denise Pratt had sent to me, and we'll get to that in a minute, in that chat so people can see it. So it's a great way to disseminate information as well. And of course, at the top right is where you can exit the space. We don't recommend that unless you really want to. But of course, if you end up doing that on accident, because we all have fat fingers and do that from time to time, just come right back in. And of course, we'll get you a microphone again. Do you have any questions?
No, that seems cool. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Perfect. I just saw Chad. I didn't have a chance to give him a microphone. If somebody wants to send him a DM, I would appreciate it. While you do that, I'm going to just get us started with a proper introduction. First of all, I'd like to give thanks to my sponsor, Elevate Results. If you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter and check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. Reminder, all the recordings of my past spaces and interviews are on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212, including that last one of Maurice Hawkins. If you didn't catch it, you can catch it on my YouTube channel. Definitely was a little more interesting than I thought it was going to be. What an experience that was from the moment I posted it until hours after it was over. But anyway, tonight's guest is originally from Ocean City, Maryland, but currently lives in Las Vegas. Mike Holtz has been the WSOP Online Player of the Year 2 years, 2021 and 2023. And he has one WSOP bracelet and 6 circuit rings. Mike's bracelet came from winning the 2022 online Lucky Sevens event, number 17, for over $76,000. He also holds the record for the most cashes at a single WSOP with 25 cashes in 2023. Mike is also a co host on the Poker News podcast. I'm sure everybody has listened to him and Chad and Kina and all their guests. Mike's total life earnings listed on Hendon Mob are over 867,000. Best life cash over 94,000 for his third place finish in the $1,600 no limit epic stack at the Venetian. So I'm so glad you joined us this evening and welcome, Mike Holtz.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sherry. I appreciate it.
You bet. How'd you get started in poker?
So originally I got started in poker. Just one of my buddies who I was hanging out with, this guy Brad Smith. I was over there, I think, playing video games at his house. I think we were playing like Madden or something like that. And he had a couple buddies over at one of the small tables in the back, and they were all playing card games. And I was like, "What's?" I wasn't really familiar with poker. I'd obviously heard of it, and my mom taught me Midnight Baseball and other variants when I was like 6 years old, and we'd go to Atlantic City. But I hadn't had too much exposure to it, and yeah, they taught me the game and fell in love with it. I've always been a video gamer. I always loved board games. I'm a big strategy guy, so yeah, just instantly fell in love with it from there.
I love it. That's kind of how I stumbled into it. My boys, I was taking care of my mom, moved in with us with Alzheimer and dementia. And my boys were like, you need to find something to do like outside of this home. And so they're like, let's learn poker. And like you, I just like competition. If you said, let's go play marbles right now, I'd be like, let's go. So I get that. I honestly get it. And who do you credit mostly with your success?
Wow, that's a great question. Who would I guess, who do I credit the most of my success? I don't know if anyone's asked me that before. Wow, I don't know. I think luck, honestly. I think a lot of it is just being in the right place at the right time and just being lucky that I think I have like a gifted brain in strategy. There's just certain things that like my brain picks up instantly, whereas uh other things that are more normal for people in life, like folding laundry, my brain really doesn't get that. But games, I'm good at games. So I guess my mom. Thank you for the genetics, mom. I think that's probably who I credit the most.
Well, and I kind of set you up in that question because I heard somewhere in an interview or somewhere when I was doing some research recon on you, that you give a lot of credit to your mom for your success, and I thought it was really special that you actually presented her with your Player of the Year ring. What was that like for her? Was she surprised?
No, I mean she knew it. She'd been asking for it for up until the month until I'd gotten it. So she's like, "Well, you better give that to your mother." So no, she loves it, and she likes wearing it out and showing it off. So I was more than happy to give it to her. But actually, she actually brought it with her the last time she came here, and she had it displayed in my house. She left it there, so it's actually at my house until she comes and gets it next week when she flies back.
Oh, I love that so much. And, you have to have a special relationship with your mom when you guys can have that type of conversation. And that says a lot about both of you. So kudos to that. I like being the outsider looking in and hearing about that. And of course, little credit to your mom. I believe her name is Anne, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my girl Ann Holtz. She's keeping it real.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Tell us, what do you do to improve your poker game?
I watch a lot of YouTube, honestly. My whole life, I've always found that if I wanted to be good at something, that the easiest way for me to do it was just to watch whoever was the best at that thing and then just copy exactly what they're doing. So, a lot of my peers or contemporaries, like they do a lot of solver work themselves these days. Like they wake up in the
Right.
morning, they're running hands. For me, it's more of like I let them do the work for me, and then I go and watch replays of all the final tables on YouTube or featured tables on the bigger stuff, and I just watch how they interact with certain spots, and I just try to figure out little things that, oh, okay, maybe I can check raise in these spots more often. It seems like people fold really often. I just find out what the best have done, and I just try to mimic that. So I think that's, I mean, I do some solver work, obviously, and I do a decent bit of studying with charts and everything. But as far as like the best stuff, I always recommend watching the YouTube final tables on GG or any of the bigger stuff. Anything over a $500 buy-in, usually you get some really good information.
And I totally agree, and I'm sure most of the listeners in here would agree with that theory as well. And I like to watch those, I think I've watched every video on the Poker Go in the Poker Go library. And for me, it was about, you know, looking for tells, practicing my, looking for tells on people. I think that is something you can so do by watching those final tables and, even the outside tables.
No, absolutely, and I was going to say that too. I'm really a believer in, and I'm not as much a live poker guy as I am online. I love live, and I think I'm a good a live player, but online comparatively, I think I excel more. But I've always in my life felt like I had an ability to read people better than most, and watching people play like you. I don't know that everyone has the same feeling about this because I know a lot of people say like, oh, live tells aren't real. But for me, I feel like I see stuff like you said. I see stuff all the time when I watch TV. Even the best professionals in the world give stuff away sometimes. I mean, it's hard to be on your A game just like a robot staring at the same spot 24/7. Like people get aces after not having cards for 3 hours, and all of a sudden they start acting differently, and you can tell there's certain things that they give away. And I think physical tells certainly a huge part of live poker, and definitely something that you can watch tape of and figure out what people are doing.
100%. And to me, it's just honing my own skills, and for what to look for, the change in the pattern of betting, their disposition. Did they sit up in their seat? Did they relax in their seat? I just think it's a great way to practice honing your skills for live tells. I also think it's a great way to practice counting your opponent's, chip stacks and getting into that mindset of what are those chip stacks on the table, and consciously counting them as the game is going on, just to practice that. There's just so for me, I think there's so much somebody could practice by watching those films.
Yeah, 100%. And now that you say that about the practicing stack counting, that's actually interesting because I know when I play online, I find it much, much, much easier to know what everyone's stack is because just the information is just right there. It's present. It takes me 1 second just to look and see how many
Right.
big blinds everyone has. Whereas in live poker, and this goes back to the physical tells thing too. I personally have had multiple spots where I haven't played a hand in a long time, and then I look down at a playable hand or a hand where it's like I don't know if it's supposed to shove or raise. You know what I mean? It could be close, and then I got to look at everyone's stack and count it. And now I'm like, oh shit, everyone knows I'm thinking to shove. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's definitely a thing, 100%.
Yeah, I've used watching those old films for many ways to improve my own game, and it's also about, training yourself to do things so you don't get bored at the table and check out of the game either too. So I think there's a lot that you can do by watching those old tapes, so to speak. Do you have a pre-tournament ritual?
Pre-tournament ritual would be wake up way too late and then procrastinate until about 30 minutes before late reg ends, and then I do a bong rip, and then I get in my car and get to the tournament as fast as I possibly can, so I can make max late reg. That seems like my unofficial routine these days.
I love your honesty about it for sure. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this next question. Um, did you play the 2025 industry tournament this year?
No, I did not. I decided the backlash would be just too ridiculous, so I just stayed out of it. I said I'm not dealing with that this time, but yeah.
I had to ask that question for the fun of it for sure. I wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all, in the Purple Pill folks, I did post from an email that Denise sent to me and she suggested I share it. Denise Pratt sent me a document and it's guidelines for backing deals. And I think it's a valuable document, and of course, tweak it to your liking or whatever. But it should remind all of us that, you know, when money's involved, a written agreement is probably always the best way to go. And I think this gives you some good perimeters to start your own document or use this document to set yourself up for the best experience when you're staking someone or they're staking you. So I did want to give Denise credit for sending that to me, and hopefully she's going to come on for an interview. I was just, truth be told, I was in talks with her to come do an interview when Maurice reached out to me that he was willing to do an interview. And it was really kind of crazy because, neither one of them knew I was talking to the other about doing an interview, and it just turned out that Maurice had Tuesday free, and Denise was supposed to do an interview yesterday, and we've changed that. So hopefully she'll come on in the future. And quite honestly, if she doesn't even want to talk about that whole situation, I'm down. I just want to interview her, the poker player. I have no problem setting those perimeters, and we don't even have to talk about that situation. And I'm good with that because I think we can do interviews about all kinds of topics for sure. So just want to put that out there. Appreciate Denise sending that to me. I think it's an important conversation for anybody thinking about getting involved with staking or backing deals. So just wanted to put that out there. Now I want to pivot to another thing, and I'm going to pin it to the Jumbotron. And for those that don't know, the Jumbotron in a moment is going to be at the top. If I can give me a moment, because Isaac, can you put that picture of Matt Savage in the Jumbotron for me?
Let me see.
It's in the purple pill. And forgive me, you guys, but X made some changes to that process.
Yeah, I think I
Uh,
can. Here, I have to post it like as a post. Just give me 1 second.
okay. It should be in the purple pill already. But anyway, go ahead. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate you. In a minute, you're going to see a photograph of Matt Savage autographing the quilt that I had made. Isaac, can you mute, bud?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm getting the picture.
God
I
bless
was
him.
talking before, so that's why.
No worries. Unfortunately, we're just getting a little bit of feedback, so appreciate you, buddy.
I got you.
Um, for those that don't know, I've had a quilt made from all of my old poker t-shirts. And when I say old poker t-shirts, I think one of them has been worn. None of them have been worn. And I saw them in my little box that I keep my poker t-shirts in one day. And I was like, you know what? I need to get rid of these, give these away. And then I thought, you know what? Why not do a quilt that maybe we could raffle off for charity? And so I met with Lupe Soto when I was in Vegas in December, and I've chosen to raffle the quilt off for Poker Gives, which many of you are familiar with. And we're going to do it for feeding the homeless in Vegas. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is on that quilt is a Poker News t shirt. And Chad mentioned in a tweet earlier this week that he'd like for me to come in and co-host one of the episodes at Poker News this summer. So maybe I'll bring that quilt and you guys can sign it because I'm trying to get everybody that has a square on that quilt to sign it. And you'll see Matt Savage is signing one of the squares when I, seeked him out in December. So, Mike, I hope you'll sign that square. And anyone else that's with Poker News, Chad, kinda, anybody else that'll be in town. So I think it just adds a special touch when we could have some autographs on that quilt. Um,
No, I'm totally down for that. And then, yeah, Chad will as well. Ben Ludlow and Kina. Kina's doing the MSPT podcast. She no longer does the Poker News one. She does that with Chad, and then Chad's also doing another podcast monthly on the Poker News channel with Bet Rivers, which is really cool. And I'm not sure who his co-host with that is, but we'd all love to sign it, obviously.
yeah,
So that'd be awesome. And yeah, we'd love to have you as a co-host sometime on the Poker News podcast. Come hang out with me and Chad and Ben Ludlow and have a good time.
love it. Thank you so much. But you guys can see up if you scroll to the top of the page, it's what we call the Jumbotron here in Spaces. And you can zoom in. I circled it in red. I think I got that Poker News t-shirt from spinning the wheel at the WSOP at the Poker News um,
The
booth.
podcast booth.
Yeah, the podcast booth is where I think I got that T-shirt from, and I love I love that T-shirt on the quilt because it has so much detail to it, and it just is a nice square on the quilt. So anyway, I wanted you guys to hear that from me and know that my goal is to get every one of the squares signed by somebody that represents that square. So we'll have more about that in the near future and kick off the raffle campaign and all that with Lupe and Poker Gives. So anyway, just needed to put that out there so people are aware, and we'll look forward to that in the future. What poker tournament win are you most proud of, Mike?
The bracelet, for sure. Winning the bracelet was the biggest thing for me. Like, that was a pipe dream. I mean, not that I never thought it would happen. At that point, I definitely was thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna win a bracelet eventually. But in 2021, when I first started playing tournaments professionally in early 2021, the year I won Player of the Year. So I kind of just like happenstance had that happen. I never thought I would win a bracelet, much less even really play in too many bracelet events. So I'd played the Colossus. I'd flown out here in like 2016, something like that, for the first or
Right?
second one. And I think it was the only bracelet event I had played before 2021. And then when I won the bracelet, I couldn't believe it. It was the coolest thing ever. I was jumping up and down. Yeah, for me, that was definitely it, because I've only won a few live tournaments. I've chopped some. I've gotten a third, fourth, fifth for a little less than 100K in a few events. But yeah, the bracelet's so special. You know, there's only, I mean, there's plenty they give out now, but it really is
Sure.
like, you know, you watch Phil Hellmuth on TV, or you see him win the bracelets. You see Dino Negreanu. Like, it's really cool. I think that's definitely my most proud of moment.
So just so you know, I don't play much online. Like I've probably played less than 300 hands online, seriously, for money or tournaments, whatever. I get bored. Like I want to slit my own throat when I play online. I just check out. I just am washing the windows by the time the tournament's halfway through. So uh tell us, those of us that don't play that often online, how long was that event for you until you took that bracelet down?
That's a good question. I could go back and look, but I mean, it wasn't that long. It must have ended at 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe something like that, West Coast time. And the bracelet event either started at 2 or 4 p.m. So maybe 10, 12 hours. So not that long,
Okay.
honestly.
I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you, people here that know me, I talk about this all the time. The reason I even started playing online for money was I felt like I couldn't have informed conversations with people, like in interviews, if I never played online for money. And so I started to like test out the sites. And so I think it was last year or maybe even the year before, it may have been 24. I installed ACR, was like my next one that I was going to do. And just recently, I just installed GG. Now that's going to be one I'm going to just, you know, play some hands on. And it's just really for me to know what's going on in a conversation when people talk about ACR. Okay, I've played on ACR now, so I'm a little bit familiar with it. So that's where I'm at with online. And people, people know I'm like, ready to kill myself. I've played for 5 hours, and yeah, I came in, I don't know, seventh place for like $46. Like, what am I doing here? I can't take it. I just can't take it, Mike.
No, I totally understand. But so you play live poker, obviously. Like, 5, 6 hours, you might be late. Reg might not even be open or closed yet in a live tournament by that point, right?
I know, but it's social. Like, I could talk to my neighbor, or I could, be focusing on, other people's chip stacks and what the count is. There's like things for me to do live.
No,
I like.
I know what you mean, and it's funny that you say that, because for me, like, more recently, I feel the same way. I find myself, I'll be playing 6 tables on my laptop, and I'm like walking around my kitchen, like singing to
Exactly.
myself, like I'm getting bored. I might be watching TV at the same time, and to be honest with you, even during my Player of the Year runs, like if I got down to less than 4 tables, if I had 3 tables, I would pull up a video game and play that as a fourth table in the corner. So like, there'd be plenty of times where I'd be playing online 3 tables of like high stakes tournaments, and I'm also playing like Magic the Gathering in the corner. So
Well,
I
and I
I,
made
I sympathize.
I made the mistake probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. Um, I made the mistake of, I thought, okay, let me try 2 tables. Okay. And this was one of them was like a charity event. I think one of them was for like a buy-in for Harris Cherokee or something. And the other one was a buy-in. I don't know. They were both like charity tournaments or I don't know, seat tournaments. I don't remember, but through private like home games on a site. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to play both of these at the same time and maybe I won't be so bored. Oh my God. It was too much for me. I made both final tables and I thought, oh my God, it's like not relaxing. It's not fun. I couldn't do two at a time. It was too much.
Oh, it's certainly stressful. You're going to have more stress playing more than one table, 100%. But like you said, if you play one table at a time, I mean, for me that's boring. I have to play more. I have to have more action, or else I can forget about playing. Like if I'm playing one term on my phone, I've done so many times I've forgotten I'm even playing. So I sympathize. I know what you mean too. Like
No, I
if
can't
you
do
play
it.
too many, once I go for me 6 or 7's a max. There's a point sometimes where I'll go to play 8 and I'm just like, oh my God, I've lost the ability to be good at any of these tables.
Well, and I was in a panic because of course I don't do it often enough where was just relaxed doing it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the final table of both of these. Oh my gosh, I got to really pay attention because there's good money at stake here, and I want to win both of them. And oh my God, it was too much. It was just took the joy out of it, honestly. Until of course. I won both of them, and then I was like, "Hell yes, let's do it again." But I've never have. No, I would never do that again. But anyway, yeah, I admire those that can do 7 tables, 20 tables, even 2 tables and enjoy it because it's just not for me. And that's okay. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. March of 2025, you made about a 10-minute video about the cheating at Resorts World. Did Resorts World ever reach out to you about those concerns?
Um, yeah, Resorts World itself, like the poker room guys did. Leon did, and Justin Hammer both reached out to me, and we spoke about it a little bit. Leon wasn't there for the whole incident, and Justin was. Um, yeah, I mean, they kind of just like defended themselves and their point, and yeah, it was what it was, honestly.
Do you think anything changed? They made any changes?
No, not from what I've heard. I played at the NAPT after that because it was upstairs. I think I
Right.
only played 1 or 2 events, honestly. Yeah, I think I played 2 events. Um, but yeah, I haven't heard anything. Everything I've heard, I mean, I haven't heard anything positive about the actual poker room in some time. It's usually only horror stories.
And it's so disappointing because when they first opened that room, everybody was so excited about that room and brave and bragging about what a great poker room it is. And so it's a little disappointing that that's no longer true.
No, 100%. I remember when they first opened, I was really excited. A bunch of my buddies were playing cash over there almost every day, and it seemed like a room that really was going to be player friendly, and it seems like they just, I don't know if they just don't take things seriously, or it just seems like it kind of just fell apart, I guess. I mean, there was definitely a stark contrast in how I felt playing there compared to any other room in Vegas that I play at.
That's so disappointing. Honestly, it really is because, we lost some poker rooms in Vegas because of COVID. And so a new one opens up at Resorts World and everybody's excited about it and it's going great. And lo and behold, it's not so great right now. So hopefully they're going to make some changes and hear the players' opinions and make some changes so they could go back to being how great they were when they first opened. But what
I
do I know?
I think that that's probably not going to happen, honestly. Their stock price has been tanking pretty hard, and every single video I see on Instagram talking about Resorts World, it seems like they're having a lot of problems, not
And
just in the
indeed,
poker
yeah,
room. Yeah.
indeed they are. And yeah, there's a lot of legalities, being tested and filed and so on and so forth. And, the truth will be in the pudding when all that is put to rest, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that I think it's just a situation where if they wanted to actually do something with the poker room, they'd have to do a complete overhaul with how they act. I didn't even mention it, I don't think, before, but there was another floor there. I don't want to say who, but I've literally I saw a floor in a tournament there walk up to under the gun. The guy's under the gun 8. He's first to act, and the floor peeks at his cards first before him, reaches over like a poker
What?
reaches over, looks at it, and he goes, "Oh, what a monster!" And just for him saying that, I knew he didn't have a monster for sure. The guy folded, but if he opened, I was like, I'm going to 3-bet him 100% of the time here. So, like,
Wow.
yeah, I was one of the most unprofessional things I've ever seen. And as a person, the floor who did it, I like him. He seems like a cool guy, but, like, it was so unprofessional. It was crazy.
I'm going to tell you, as a player, I would have been unglued. I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
I'm sorry. No way,
I
dude.
think we were actually hosting some sort of poker news meetup game there, so it was a situation where it was like I didn't really want to,
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to,
You have to bite your tongue.
exactly.
You had to bite your tongue. Well, I would too if it were something business related, right? But how dare he do that? Like totally unprofessional. Do you think players that have been banned for cheating should be offered an olive branch and allowed to play again?
I think it's a case by case basis, right? Like, I think for the most part, no. But at the same time, it's hard to say. I mean, it really depends on the degree of cheating and like how malicious the intent is. I think I don't know. I really think a case by case basis. But overall, if I had to take a stance one way or the other, I would say no. If I had to say yes or no, but I
All
think
right.
overall, I think case to case. I think there's some instances where it's like, okay, maybe this person has learned their lesson, didn't realize how serious it was. But then there's other cases like Ali Sirovitz where it's like, he shouldn't be anywhere near cards.
Well, and it's funny you brought up that name because I stumbled across something when I was researching you. And what do you yell at him when you see him on the felt or near the felt?
So it's funny you say that actually. I haven't seen him in like a year and a half, something like that. But or two WSPs ago, not this one, but the one before. Um, I think I just yelled at him and just called him a cheater and like a snake and a thief. Mostly, I yell at everybody else around me for not also yelling at him. I make it so that if I see him, I want to make him as uncomfortable as possible. So I'll literally be like, why are you guys happy with this? This guy stole money from all of us, millions of fucking dollars. Like, why are we okay with this? This guy should be the fuck out of here. And I just, yeah, I might have said some ruder stuff, called him some names and stuff, but yeah, somebody told me recently that he's been like concealed carrying everywhere he goes, and like he's waiting for someone to do that again so that he could pop off. And the same with Jake Schindler. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe I should stop yelling at this guy in the hallways.
Yeah, let's be careful. But of course, he can't have that on a property, right? So
Well,
that's the good news.
can't in quotes, right? I mean,
Right.
what's I haven't been metal detected at any.
Oh, you shut off your mic
Oh,
by
good
accident?
call. Yeah. Basically, I was just saying I don't think he's been he's going through any metal detectors or anything like that going to the casino. So I think he could be carrying. I mean, that seems to be
Yeah.
what they were saying
Yeah.
to me, but I don't know if that's true or not. It could just be but it came from someone in the high stakes community, so who knows?
Interesting. Um, Yeah, it would be a hard pill to swallow if I found out that he was allowed to play. And I agree with you. It's got to be case by case. But we also have to be careful, um, because the precedent you set, right? That, oh, they cheated, but now they're allowed back. So is it really a deterrent? I don't know. But I do believe that, I'll give you, for instance, I have some friends that I can't remember what site it was, if it was Poker Stars or whatever. Husband and wife both play poker, and they were going to sign up to the site for the first time. And they both, of course, did their thing separately, but they used the same bank account or bank card or whatever. And they got banned instantly. Like within an hour, they got banned from the site for multi counting. And it was just an honest mistake. They didn't know that they couldn't use the same bank information. And that ban has not been lifted till today. And that's probably, well, it happened during COVID. So 2020, what was it, 2020? Um, so in that case, yeah, I would lift that ban for them, right? Because,
Yeah, of course, and that's really what I meant by case, is
right,
situations like that, or for
right,
example, someone uses their mom's credit card when they're 18 years old, you know what I mean? They log into a site
right.
and then they get, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Okay, I'm totally with it. You fail a KYC, it's some weird situation. A situation that I would say you should be banned for life in would be a spot where it's like, I don't know, you multi-account. You have 4 accounts on a site and you're playing, you know what you're doing wrong is wrong. You should never be allowed again. That should be the end of it. You should be banned everywhere. And it's a situation where um it's against the operators need to protect us, right? They need to.
Right.
We need the players to feel protected, or else people won't play on the site. But at the same time, if they go after, like, I mean, ACR has hundreds of bots, right? Everyone knows they've got bots playing cash games. They got bots in tournaments, and the reason they don't ban them is because they get a bunch of free money from it. So it's like it's one of those things where the site's incentives often don't align with the players. But overall, I think if you're caught botting, you're caught multi-accounting, you're caught ghosting, that's a lifetime ban, in my opinion. I mean, that's just something that's morally wrong, and you're stealing from your peers and your friends. So it's really scummy to me.
It's so scummy. It is so scummy. And it's so bad for the game of poker. Like it is so bad for the game of poker. And I do believe those folks need to have lifetime bans for sure. But I do believe in the case by case as well. Because, circumstances happen and we just can't have a broad stroke sometimes. And I think this is one of those times.
I think real fast, just before we switch topics, I think it's
Sure.
really important as a community as a whole that we have to stand together against cheaters. And I really feel like we don't have enough voices in the community against cheaters. Everyone doesn't like them, but this might sound weird, but I almost feel like they need to be bullied when we see them in person. Like I just think they shouldn't feel comfortable stealing our money and then coming and playing at the tables, and everybody just acts like we're all buddy buddy. Like Bryn Kenny sold millions of dollars, ran a stable, did the whole thing with the frog poison, Martin's money, a bunch of people in Mexico, everyone's ghosting, multi-accounting, and everybody just treats him like he's just like one of the pals, one of the good guys, you know. And it's like I don't see it that way. When I see him playing at final tables and announcers, talking about how he's the all-time money winner and blah blah blah, and they don't bring up his past, it upsets me because if I'm someone watching at home and I'm like, man, I want to be a professional poker player, and then I look up Bryn Kenny, I'm like, oh, the guy on the all-time money list who's number one has a history of cheating and multi-accounting and owning a
Right.
stable. I guess you got to cheat to get to the top, right? So it's
Right.
it's it's not great in my opinion.
Well, and how much money, all-time money list, how much of that was from cheating? Like, let's face it, should he even be on the list? I mean, even though the numbers are correct theoretically, how much of that was, not won legally, so to
Sure.
speak?
Well, with Bryn specifically, I think it's more of a situation of a lot of his cheating is mostly online. I don't know of any live cheating that he's done or anything, but I mean, it's just so bad. Like, imagine a tournament with 80 people in it during COVID, and Bryn Kenny's got 12 people in there. It's like, good luck making any money in that. And it's like, you don't know you're being cheated. Like, that's the worst part. Is like you think, oh, I'm just running bad, blah blah blah, but it's like, no, you're being cheated by guys with 12 people in the tournament. It's so bad for the game's longevity.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And I can remember um, people telling me when I really got serious about my poker game, people telling me, whatever you do, do not play online. Do not play. And I just could not understand. I was like, wait, what? And of course, at the time, I didn't know about the sites that are offshore. I didn't know all the details. And the more, I can remember when a club was organized and it was all over Facebook. The guys um, were promoting this club they started on one of the sites with a skin and whatever, and they were just, they had a big group on Facebook, and one of the gals that was heavily involved with that group and that club reached out to me and she said, whatever you do, do not do anything with that club. Do not touch that club. Do not get involved with that club. And she was part of the club. So what is that telling you? I thank God she's a friend of mine giving me the warning, right?
No, of
And
course, yeah.
yeah, and it's horrible. Like I remember hanging up the phone going, wait a minute, like what am I getting myself into in the poker world? That a friend of mine is calling me with a warning. And guess what? About, I don't know, 18 months later, there was a big blow up about that game and accusations and and I thought back to that phone call and I was like, well, she was definitely giving me the heads up, right? And it
No,
shouldn't be that way.
yeah, I always am really wary of app games and anything like that. And the truth of the matter is, online and live, there is a ton of opportunities for people to cheat. And
Yeah,
online, especially, it's the sites have to be so diligent and so on top of it because like I mean think about it, if you have a friend at a final table, how hard is it to give them a phone call and just you guys have never cheated before, you just call your buddy up and you're like, hey, let's chop action or whatever. And knowing someone's whole cards at the table is like so important. So if people do, and if there's incentive to cheat, and which there is, people like money, people
right.
are going to do it. And it's not, I don't think there's a way to totally nip it in the bud. And one of the biggest problems is that the cheating that makes them the most money happens at the final table and happens towards the end of the tournament. So you could have somebody playing totally normally the whole time and you don't suspect anything, and then at the final table they're cheating with somebody else, and it's like it's impossible for the sites to be able to police it 100%. There's
Right.
no way for them to stop that, so that's there. But the other good thing about online poker, though, is that the rebuy cage, you don't have to walk up to the rebuy cage. If you're tilted, you can just click rebuy. So you do get a lot of money from like the fish and the whales that way, where it's like you might get a guy in there. You might have a tournament where 2% of the people are cheating, but 5% of the people are in for 5 to 10 bullets, and it's like, well, that offsets it. But yeah, no, cheating in poker is a serious issue, and I would say that the vast majority of people underestimate how often they're being cheated at live and online.
I'm going to tell you, I've caught some cheaters in live poker. I'm a very astute person at the table, and I, some people, are watching a movie at the table or reading a book. Now I'm watching everything going on at that table, and I'm going to tell you, I have caught people cheating at the table in Vegas at a home game. At Bar League, I videoed the owner of a bar league setting the deck. Have it on video, setting the deck.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have it on video because I was like, wait a minute. Did I just see him set the deck? And what he would do is he would not take the cut card off the bottom of the deck. And he would shuffle only the top part of the deck. But when he would pick up, like when the hand was playing out, he would pick up the mucked cards and set them in a pile in a certain order. And then when he would go shuffle the deck, the top of the deck was the only part being shuffled, but it wasn't really being shuffled, if that makes any sense. And the
Sure.
cut card never came off the bottom of the deck. And at first I was like, wait a minute, did I just see, because you're like, surely this is free poker at a bar league, for God's sakes. Surely he's not setting the deck. And so I just kept watching. And then guess what? About the third hand, I was like, he is setting the deck. So I started videoing him on two different tables he dealt at. And I caught on video that he was setting the deck. How crazy is that? If people are willing to do that at a bar league, imagine for real money what they're willing to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the problem is that, and I really feel like now the win the win takes cheating so seriously, and I've discussed this with Ray and the guys over there. They told me they've caught multiple people cheating with cameras in cash games, and they've been warned from the Bellagio and this and that. And they told me they've warned other casinos about people who they know are cheating in cash games, who they've
Yeah.
had there, and the other casinos didn't care. They didn't seem like they wanted to be involved with it. So it's the win is great, but other places aren't taking it seriously. I mean, if I ran any of the poker rooms in Vegas, and I cared about poker, I cared about my clients, I cared about, if I wasn't just caring about the rake, the first order of business is, okay, we've got to start dealing the European style where they deal the cards face down. There's
Yeah.
people have pinhole cameras. It's 2026.
Yeah.
There's so much technology out there. Dealers have too high pitches. I can see cards all the time, and it's the point now, and I talk about this all the time. Once I got LASIK, the amount of cards I can see is insane being pitched or folded. People fold too high, and when I play live poker, I spend a lot of time looking around the table to make sure no one else is trying to peek at the cards or see, because it's like I feel bad because everywhere I go I'm like, hey, do you mind if you pitch the cards a little lower? And then the people are like, hey, I've never been told that my pitch was too high. You're crazy. And then it's like I'm a bad guy for bringing it
I,
up. So
I'm going to tell you something. I call it out when I see it. If those are being pitched high and I can see any portion of that card, I'm calling it out in a heartbeat. And, yeah, there are people at that table that'll never call it out because they're using that information. And, that's on them. I can only do what my conscience tells me I need to do, right?
No,
Um,
100%, yeah. But the thing is too, and I will always call it out. But the thing that sucks is like sometimes I'll see like a portion of the card that now all I know is that it's not a face card, right? And so I'm like,
right.
hey man, I saw part of your card. They're like, what card is it? I'm like, I just know it's not a face card. And then they're like, you need to know the exact card and blah blah blah. The Venetian told me one time. This is 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The Venetian, the floor, who told me this isn't there anymore. But he said, if I don't know the exact card, don't say anything. He said, you have to know the exact card, the exact suit. And I was like, bro, that's crazy. Like,
That's insane because you have information just knowing if it's a face card or not. I mean, that is information.
and then not only that, but it's like, it's unfortunate for me because like my conscience, like I had a hand recently. I can't even remember where it was, but I had a hand recently where I saw the big blind got a face card. And I literally said, oh, I saw one of his cards. But as I said it, he grabbed both his cards and like put them together. And I was like, all I know is he has a face card. And I didn't, I said to the dealer, I saw one of the cards. He asked me what it was. I was like, let me just look at my hand. Maybe I can just fold my hand and we can just move on from this. I
Right.
looked at an ace 10 off and it was like, right, and I was like, oh, I saw a face card. And then everyone's acting weird about it. So I just folded my hand. And it's like, I shouldn't fold that hand. But I felt like weird that I'd seen this guy's card. He ends up showing that he had jack 4 off and I saw the jack or whatever. But it's just, yeah, it's a weird situation. But I think casinos, poker rooms need to be proactive in making sure that their dealers realize that people are going to be predatory. People are trying to look at cards. People are trying to get any
Yep.
advantage they can because we're playing for amounts of money that normal people, like, I don't know what the average, the medium income is in America, but I think it's like, what, 45K, 60K a year, something like that. Most of the tournaments we play or that I play at, if you make the top 3, you're making more money than that. So there's a ton of
Right.
incentive to cheat, and we have to be protected.
Well, we have to be aware. Like we need to be paying attention because, we can police ourselves, so to speak, and draw attention to it by speaking out and every little bit helps, right? And I can remember I know Auntie Chardonnay just did a little video about the groups coming in from different countries and descending on Texas. And I remember Bart Hansen's called the attention to that probably 3 years ago or so down at the lodge that he felt they needed to be banned from playing at the lodge, which of course I took great homage to because I was like, you can't discriminate against people because they come here from another country in a group, but you can make sure that they don't all end up at the same table unless they earn their way there by, making their way through a tournament to the final table. Um, but what is the recourse there? I don't think it's you can ban people unless you can prove they're cheating. So I see ASG's hand is up. Go ahead, ASG.
Yeah, I was. You guys were talking about the cameras, and I was just wondering, Mike, if you heard anything about like there was like some rumors going around about the high stakes game during the World Series this year at the like those
Yeah, so
tables.
that was,
I think Omaha.
yeah, so that I'm not sure the exact game, but yeah, that's basically what happened. Was they contacted? I don't remember if WSOP contacted the Win or if the Win contacted WSOP or what the deal was. But the Win basically was like, we knew about that. We told them that this was going to happen. Like they called over to Bellagio, and I can't remember the other places they called over to. But yeah, that's basically that guy or that group of people with the pinhole cameras and the high stakes cash. That's what was going on.
Yeah, we had talked about that this summer. And, to their credit, both Matt Savage and Sean McCormick come into our spaces and warn us and say, we're now on the lookout for this because there's these groups that are traveling to different parts and they're using these, pinhole size cameras. So, I appreciate the warnings as well. Uh, Matt, welcome to the speaker panel, and Kathy. I'm not sure which. Oh, I see Kathy's back down. And I'm going to tell you guys, these spaces glitch. So sometimes you look like a speaker and you're not, or you look like a listener and you're not. So forgive us if we can't tell that you're a speaker. If you use one of the emojis, you can raise your hand like ASG did, and then we'll know for sure you're trying to speak to us. Matt, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Sherry. Thanks for having me on, and hello to Mike as well. Hope you're all keeping well over there, and a very belated Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, Matt. Joining us from Europe. Did you have any questions?
Oh, yes, I did. Mike, I'm just going to say as well, I've watched you play, and I've got to say you're very, very good. You play really good poker as well. A lot of people can be inspired by how you play, so good on you, man.
I appreciate that, Matt. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. So related to that, I put Sherry to ask you. Did you see the WPT chart with the $5, $4, etc. thing for the bald poker players, and were you offended that you weren't on the list there?
I didn't see that, no, but now I am offended. Absolutely.
He sent me that message when the other day when I said you were going to come on. He said, "Ask him about this," and I was like, "I didn't even see that. I don't have any concept of what you're talking about."
No,
So
that's pretty good. I love the Club WPT Gold. I like their Twitter presence. I think it's cool to have a company like that. I mean, it's wild what they're doing in some aspects, but I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, no, I wasn't even worth $1. Club WPT Gold. What the hell?
Club PT Go. I'm going to tell you, that account is hilarious, and it's amazing. Like their willingness to cross the line as a business is just like crazy to me to think about.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. It seems like they got someone who's younger probably running the social media who just doesn't give a shit. He's just firing it off. So I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's nice to see as compared to like WSOP.com where it's like you literally have to have the phone number of the of like the president that runs it to get anything done.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
unless they changed it. I mean, it's not still Thomas. I thought everybody knew it was that seriously serious guy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's more than him, but yeah,
Yes.
it's got it. He is like the main guy, right?
Yes. It's Thomas and then some other folks.
Yeah, I know they said they had a female on the staff too, or one of the interns, but maybe they were just like making a joke out of that. I don't know, but I thought it was like a group running the account, like they had like a group chat with ideas, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
It is hilarious, though. You got to give them credit. They certainly go down the road that most of us would not. And that's what makes it hilarious because you're like, oh my goodness, they really are pushing the edge.
Well, it's nice seeing a reputable poker site call out Maurice Hawkins as well, honestly. So that was pretty cool.
Do you mean you have no love lost for Maurice?
No, no love lost. I've given him the benefit of the doubt too many times over. It's to the point where we as a community just gotta say enough is fucking enough, man. Like, get out of here.
I hear you. I absolutely hear you. And, contrary to what he thinks, I do think he owes Denise a payback and money. Although the other night he said he didn't feel that way. And I absolutely feel like he owes her money. So, anyway, up in the big Jumbotron, ASG was kind enough to put the Build Your Bald Dream team, that club WPT Gold posted on the 30th of December. So you can look up in that Jumbotron to see what he was referring to. And Mike did not make the cut. I'm sorry to say, buddy.
Well, it's okay. I'm surprised I didn't make the cut looking at this group of people. Also, is Scott Seaver really fully bald in that pic? I don't really know, but I see
I
we
mean,
got
same with
Brandon
Kessler.
Henny on here. Negreanu is a bald man. This is crazy.
Well, and I wonder because some of the guys like Berkey and even what the heck's his name? I can't think of his name. They look like they have hair, but they just shave it off. So do they really count?
Yeah, no one knows with the ball semantics exactly what counts
Airball.
and what doesn't. But we know that
Yeah.
I'm not on there, and that's all that matters.
Right? Yeah, ball. Thank you, ASG. I was thinking about airball. They look like they have hair that they just choose to shave off. My sons do that. And so do they really count? I don't know. I think it needs to be shiny or it doesn't count. But anyway, moving right along, ASG, thank you for that because I had not seen that, which makes it even funnier. Okay, Mike, what is the most times you've rebought into a tournament?
Oh, most times I've rebought, I think, I can't remember, it was 19 or 21. 19 or 21 in the $50 Super Turbo rebuy and add-on on WSOP.com that they used to have in, gosh, it must have been 2021. It was 10 a.m. every night, 1 hour of late reg, and yeah, I think I was in for 21 bullets, and it was like, I was in for over $1,000, so yeah, it had to be 21 bullets, and plus an add-on, so like $1,100, and I won the tournament for like $1,800. So I still made the profit, but I had to get second to break even or first to make money. So
How about live poker? Most times you bought in.
it's actually gonna be shocking. I think it's like maybe like for one flight, I think 4 maybe max. Definitely, maybe even 3. I think 4, but no, it's got to be 4 because 4 for a PLO tournament. But yeah, I don't think I've ever fired more than 4 in one flight.
All right. So for the last almost a year now, it'll be a year next month, I've been asking my guests the following question. The world of poker is putting a new rule into place, and we want your input. We're going to limit the number of rebuys into all tournaments in the world. How many rebuys do you think players should be allowed?
If we're just gonna go broad, I would say 2, maybe 1. I think for the majority of tournaments, I would say if we have to do uniform every tournament, yeah, maybe 2. But man, I think as a professional, I'd like it to be 2, right? But really, when you think about it, I feel like the recreational players are the most important to please, and I think they would say they'd like 1 or 0 because they feel like they're not in an even playing field with guys, professionals who could just buy in a million times, right? So
Right.
I'd say yeah, either 1 or 2, but that's a hard question and a good question.
Well, and I appreciate that. And it was really that question sparked out of the whole thing last spring or late winter down at the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. Cody Stanford rebought into that $400 tournament 36 times.
Holy
And
shit.
yeah, and I interviewed him shortly after because I'm like, I just got to know what makes this guy tick, right? And I even asked him, like, what place did you have to come in to even break even? He's like, I have no idea. Like he didn't have any idea what place he had to even, break
Sure.
even point. And but it does bring up a lot of questions as far as the experience for everybody at the table when that's going on. Because he said there were times that he was allowed to stay at the same table, and he was actually rebuying and going blind all in when he was losing the bullets. And so, what is that experience for a new player that's sitting at that table going, how am I going to compete? I have 1 or 2 bullets to fire off, and this guy's on bullet number 27, and he's not stopping anytime soon. So, yeah.
Sure. So the way I would look at that, like, That's the only problem in my mind with limiting the rebuys is like I think everyone should be very happy if someone comes to your table and starts going all in behind every hand. I could certainly see as a recreational being pissed when he has Jack 7 off and he beats my tens, right? But like at the same time, I mean, it's definitely really good for the poker economy if we get one guy buying in 40 times and going all in behind every hand. Like that seems cool to me. But as far as like, you don't want Alex Foxen playing his A game and getting 6 bullets in versus a recreational who won a satellite and they got there, right whenever they started. And now they're like, oh, I eliminated Alex Foxen. And then it's like an hour later they get moved table and it's like, oh, Alex Foxen knocks him out. And they're like, oh, I didn't have a fair shot here. This guy can buy in multiple times. So it's definitely an interesting thing. And it's going to be hard for poker rooms to limit rebuys. I mean, they obviously want more buy-ins. It's more rake. But
Well, and in that discussion, I've had with some operators, and of course, they don't want to release the numbers because, what are we talking about? How many people are rebuying in more than, say, 6 times at a tournament? I mean, is that
not a lot.
2% of the field? So are we going to cater to 2% of the field or 98% of the field and make the 98% of the field's experience impeccable? Or are we going to cater to this 2% just because they add, I don't know, a couple more thousand to the prize pool? So, I think there's a lot to look at when we're talking about unlimited rebuys. And quite frankly, I wouldn't have a problem putting a cap on it at like 6. I'm okay with 6 rebuys. I do have an issue with it being more than 10 for sure. Just because I think the overall experience, because think of it this way, what if you're not at the table with the guy that's rebuying and he's allowed to sit at that table and rebuy, say, 6 or 8 or 10 times before he's moved over to a different table? Now, think of the amount of chips at that table in comparison to a table across the room that doesn't have that person doing that.
No, 100%, and you're totally right. And it's funny that you say that because that used to be my concern in a lot of the 500s on the old WSOP website was you'd get a table, and I don't remember exactly how it worked, but like you'd get a guy rebuying and get the same table multiple times. It's like, okay, there's 6 total tables in this, and one table has the same amount of chips total on it that the other 5 tables have, and it's like you're totally right. It adds a lot more variance because when you get a guy buying in that many times, he is overinflating the amount of chips in the tournament disproportionately. So, yeah, no, it's a very convoluted question or a convoluted situation
Right,
where it's like there's pros and cons to both sides, but I do
right.
think we need to go from unlimited to in most tournaments at least lowering it a little bit. I mean, unlimited's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I've never rebought. I don't think more than I think there was one ladies tournament I rebought 3 times, but I've never gone over 3. And I think I've only done that once, if my memory serves me. And I've only rebought into a tournament 2 times, probably 3 times in my life. It's just not something I do. My point of view when I started thinking about rebuys long ago was if I have to rebuy multiple times, because I have friends that are rebuy 6, 8, 10 times. If I have to do that, I should be at a practice table, not at a live poker table. Like my game is not that great if it takes me 6 or 8 bullets to get anywhere in that tournament. Now that, I'm not trying to dismiss that there are, times that it's really a good idea to have multiple bullets, the prize pool, the situation, whatever. So don't misunderstand me. But my point is my game that great that, or do I need to be at the work table?
Sure, and then I totally understand that. But the way I look at it is, I'm going to enter a tournament. It doesn't matter if I have 100, if I busted 100 times. If my bankroll still allows it on the 101st time, I'm just going to say to myself, okay, am I still winning in this tournament? If it's
Right,
winning, I'm going to play. If
right,
if I'm playing my D game or whatever, I'm playing like shit, I'm tilted. Then yeah, then I'm done, obviously. But
right.
I think as long as you're still plus EV, fire away.
Yeah, and I get that. Believe me, I do. But for myself, it was just more of a pride thing that I was like, man, it shouldn't take me that many bullets. Like, it's not my day. The luck's not with me. I'm playing like shit. whatever it is. But there
I'm
are
with you.
days, you know what I mean? There are days that you move in with pocket aces on the fourth hand and they get cracked by pocket deuces. And you're like, wait, I got to rebuy because this was just bullshit and I need to play again. You know what I mean?
Sure,
So,
exactly. No, 100%. Yeah, you get ace king versus ace king, and then they hit 4 diamonds, and you're like, well, shit. Like, I guess I gotta
yes.
get back in there.
And I'm here to play, right? I'm here to play as well. But I think there's a lot to look at in that discussion. And, if I can start that discussion with a lot of different people, I think it's worth bringing it up every time I do an interview. Because I think that it is gaining, I've heard the mumblings of that discussion more often in the last probably 2 months. And that brings me great joy because I do think it needs to be addressed. I think 36 rebuys is out of control and should not be allowed. And when I talked to Cody about it in his interview, he said he would continue to do it as long as they allow him to do it. But in the same token, he said he thinks the amount of rebuys should be like 4, I think he said. And one of these days, I promise, audience, I'm gonna go back and listen. But I want to say he said he thought 4 rebuys would be enough to cap it at. But
I
in
think
this,
I think a lot of it depends on the structure of the tournament. I think
right,
4 is good, and like some of these $400 turbos you see, where max late reg you come in with 8 big blinds or something, where the structures it structures a situation where you could easily buy in with 20 big blinds, and then you just have a spot where you have to 3-bet jam sevens or something, and you run into ace
sure,
jack, you lose a flip. So I think
sure.
a lot of those tournaments, it's good to have like a 4. 4 sounds good actually to me, but in a tournament like, for example, a circuit main event, I think that those are really good with either one buy-in or one rebuy.
Right.
I think tournaments like that where you get in the mid stakes, the 1700s, the 3500s, the 2200s, I think limiting the amount of rebuys on those is a solid idea, especially if they have a good structure.
I agree. I totally agree. But I really was surprised when he was okay with limiting it to that many. I was like, Cody, he's like, no, Cher, I'm telling you, as long as they allow me to do it, I'll do it. But at the same token, I think that it should be limited to 4. And hey, I hear you. Like he's within the rules, and as long as those rules are what they are, he's going to continue on. And I'm sure that's the attitude of many people. So anyway,
Yeah.
moving right along. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I respect that a lot. I think
Yeah,
I agree with them. I think you use what's legal and what's in the rules to your advantage, as long as you're not hurting anyone or cheating or anything. Keep doing it. But yeah, I mean he sees that there's an issue with it, and if they change it, obviously he's with it as well. So I respect the opinion.
absolutely, for sure. Okay, about a month or so ago, Helmuth put out to the ether that he thought that the WSOP should reduce the number of bracelets awarded annually to 100. Do you have any thoughts on that topic?
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, I think Helmuth is incredibly biased because he obviously wants there to be less bracelets, so that it's
He's
harder.
protecting. He's protecting.
Yeah, sure, and that's in his best interest, obviously. So I totally
Right.
understand where he's coming from there. I think it's too late at this point. I think they've expanded it too much, and I think I think they've watered down the bracelets quite a bit. And when they had the Pennsylvania online bracelets and stuff, and they were having like the Quebec bracelets, and it's like, if you're in a tournament where there's 36 people and it's like $1,000 buy-in, there shouldn't be a bracelet award for that, in my opinion. And then some, but at the same token, like some of these high rollers, like you get the $250,000 buy-in, the $1 million buy-in where you get 30 people. It's like it's the same thing, kind of. So here's the thing. I think that the WSOP wants to make as much money as possible, and that
Right.
their biggest draw is bracelets, right? So that's why they want to do it. They want to have as many opportunities to draw people in. It's going to dilute the brand. The WSOP brand in general has taken such a gigantic PR hit in the last 10 years, in my opinion. Like 10 years ago, if you asked me what's the best poker company, WSOP, it's obvious. Who else could it possibly be? Now,
Right.
I feel like I could name 10 better companies. You know what I mean? I feel like I could make a company tomorrow with 3 employees that would be better than WSOP. Like the way they run stuff lately is just, it feels like a gigantic cash grab, and that they don't care about the players. But with that said, I mean, I think that's why they have that many bracelets. To me, prestige-wise, if you limit the amount of bracelets to 100, they'll be more prestigious. But at the same time, I think they've just gone too far, and it's just maybe they need to make rings, bracelets, and chains, or championship belts, or crowns,
Right.
something else where they can distinguish Europe from the Bahamas, from WSOP, from Circuit. You know what I mean? I think there should be multiple different things given out, and maybe the bracelets should just be reserved for Las Vegas live events. Maybe that's a solution.
Well, and do you think the size of the field should be part of the deciding factor? Like if they don't get 250 runners, then it's a bracelet won't be awarded, a ring would be?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I said that as far as like the 30 people. I mean, it just feels less prestigious, right? Like
Right.
30 people is, I mean, that's not a big tournament. Like it doesn't feel like you should get a world championship prize for that. But at the same time, yeah, it's weird. I don't really know, honestly. It's a hard topic because it's like there's pros and cons to both, and it's to the point now where we've had so many bracelets in the last 5 or 6 years and so many rings. Like you just go back, it feels kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's another topic that has a lot of layers to discuss. And I don't think that it's an easy solution either, because it is a worldwide issue and you want everything you're awarding to be special, whether it's a ring, a bracelet, a watch, whatever. It's supposed to be special. Somebody, spent their time and hard-earned money to win it. So, it's not an easy subject. Matt, did you have a question or comment?
Oh yeah, hi, thanks, Shelley. Yes, I was just going to say, Mike, have you ever played any tournaments over this side of the pond?
I have not, but I very much want to go to the Irish Open. And I wouldn't mind going to Prague either. I actually need to look at my schedule in March and see what's going on with that. But no, I'd love to get over there and play some.
Me too. I want to go to the Irish Open. It's on my list. I got to Malta last year and that was phenomenal. Have you gone there yet, Mike?
So no, I've only played poker in the U.S. I haven't played any poker outside except for when I
Got
go
it.
to Mexico to play GG.
Got it. Yeah, I highly recommend Malta for sure. I do have a question. If you could give us one leak that a player should really work on correcting, what would that be?
Bankroll management. I think that's it's from my students and friends and everything. I think that people really really have poor bankroll management. Too many people have their life roll and their bankroll combined, or they take shots that they really can't afford. As that's as far as like overall, as far as just in the game of poker in general. Um, a lot of people. I mean, it depends. Like your regular players, I'd say that some of their biggest leaks are mostly just like not betting for value enough, not three betting enough. I'd say the the bread and butter of a solid fundamental poker game is, and this is a big Bart Hansen thing, is where I originally learned at Crush Live Poker, was bet folding. It's in the mid stakes, low stakes game, betting your hand for value and then folding when you get raised, because you get raised so less often with value with bluffs in the lower stakes. I'd say that's the biggest thing, is not going for thin value enough.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We have a lot of different levels of players that listen to my space. So I love to get some things put out there that maybe they can learn from, besides getting to know you, the player, and the person. Um, do you, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. How did you get involved in the world of Minecraft? How old were you? Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can hear you. Yeah.
Mike, are you there? Uh-oh, we may have lost him. This is not unusual in spaces. So, Mike, if you can hear me, if you go out of the space and come back in, that may solve the problem. This is one of those X Spaces glitches. He may have gotten a phone call and that could have kicked him out as well.
Whoop,
Are
can
you
you hear me
there?
now?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I realized I just I connected to my my next door neighbor's Wi-Fi by accident, just automatically switched me. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
What were we saying?
Um, how'd you get involved? Like, how old were you when you got involved with Minecraft, World of Minecraft?
Okay, so it was World of Warcraft, and
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sorry. Thank you.
no, it's all good in the hood. I was like, oh gosh, so when I was 14 or 15, I used to skateboard every day, and I broke my ankle skateboarding, and I had like 4 months where I couldn't skate, and
Oh,
I just started playing video games. My cousin had played this video game called Diablo 2, which I'd always seen him playing. I never knew anything about it, so I picked that up. And the company that made that, Blizzard, they also made World of Warcraft, and it was coming out. So I got into that, went to the midnight release or whatever, and yeah, I just got obsessed. I mean, at the time, I was really, really heavy. I was like 300, 350. Well, before World of Warcraft, I guess I was like 280, 270. But I was a huge, huge kid, very, very,
right.
very unhealthily obese. And whenever I got into World of Warcraft, it was like I went from, in person being like an acne fat kid, yada yada, to in World of Warcraft, I was one of the best warriors in the world. Some would consider the best. So like everyone loved me. So it was like I spent 12 hours of my day in the game in a virtual world where it was like I could be someone different than who I actually was. Because I hadn't blossomed into, the lovely person I am today, obviously. But yeah, so I
I
love
love it.
yes, I love World of Warcraft. Played it all the time, and
Didn't you
yeah,
travel with a team to play competitions?
yeah. So I played World Series of Video Gaming. And the guy Sean Fanning who invented Napster, he actually I didn't even know it was him for the longest time, but he was like my best friend online. We used to play with each other every day. He was the mage of our group, and he had this company called Rupture, and it basically was supposed to be like the new MySpace of for video gaming. And so he sponsored us with that company, and we were Team Rupture, and we went around to all the World Series of Video Gaming stops playing arena. It's fun stuff.
What a thrill for a teenager. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely insane.
That's so cool. All right, Matt, go ahead. I see your hands up, buddy.
Uh, yeah, hi, Shirley. Thanks for that.
Sure.
Fascinating conversation about Minecraft, by the way. Minecraft is terrific. Shirley, I'm going to have to get off because I've got some work on for tomorrow. So great talking with you, Mike. Lovely talking with you as well. Keep up the good work, and I'll chat to you all soon.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Nice meeting you, brother.
You
And
too,
that's
guys.
Matt.
Take care.
That's Matt, and he's um, near London, one of my listeners from near London. So appreciate you, Matt, devoted listener. And he always has great questions, and he loves to watch poker online because it's hard for him to get the live broadcast. So he watches the reruns, so to speak. So thanks, Matt. Mike and Matt. Thanks, Matt. Um, Tell us about the jail time you served there, Mr. Holtz.
Yes, the jail time. So gosh, how old was I? I was 18, 19. I was like selling weed. Not a lot of weed, like, I don't know, maybe a pound at a time in like eighths and ounces. So for those of you that don't smoke weed, very, very small amounts that you could buy at the dispensary these days
Right.
legally. Um, but yeah, I got arrested with like 6 ounces of weed, which, these days it's like $600 at the dispensary, $500 at the dispensary. You go in and grab that. And yeah, I went to jail for 30 days. I just did weekends, and it wasn't that bad. I knew everyone, and it was like the place I grew up in had so many marijuana arrests per capita. We were literally, our county, Worcester County at the time, was more than double the arrests per 100 citizens of the second county in America. So like we literally lived in I mean, it was crazy. Like if you drove down the road and you had a fitted hat on, you were getting pulled over. Like they were just going to pull over and search you. It was insane growing up there. So it was like, but in jail because of that, I knew everyone. It was like all my friends. So it was like, it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? It
And
wasn't.
it's really kind of a shame you didn't stick with it and learn to be a grower and move to California or somewhere and grow.
Yeah, I totally never did that cough.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, oh, I knew it was for weed, but I thought it would be kind of fun for you just to, and nowadays, I don't even know if they would write you up for that these days.
Oh, no, not at all, literally. And no, I actually co-own a weed company out in California, Stank Packs, that deals with some dispensaries out there. So I'm still in the weed game, but more on the legal side now.
I love it. And Isaac's out in California. I hope you heard that name. Say it again, Mike.
Stank Packs.
Stank Pats from Isaac. Let me know what you think. And of course, Karen will be curious about that herself. I promised you a time limit, and you see how our time just goes away and we don't even realize how long it's been, do we, Mike?
Time flies when you're having fun, Sherry,
Exactly. And that's why I never can answer that question without giving like a parameters, because sometimes, um, the space just kind of ends itself, and then sometimes it never wants to end. And tonight has been one of those nights, I think. But I do want to let you off the hook so you can enjoy your Friday night for sure, and so can the rest of our listeners. I appreciate you taking the time, but I'd like to do one more thing before I let you off the hook. I'd like to do a little game called Rapid Fire. Are you familiar?
I'm not exactly familiar, but it sounds like you're just going to fire a bunch of questions really fast. So I'm going to answer them. Is that accurate?
Maybe pretty close, but I'm just going to give you two choices. You need to pick one, or you could say pass.
Okay, sounds good.
Comedic movies or horror movies?
Comedic.
Turkey or ham?
Turkey.
Do the dishes or do the cooking?
Cooking.
Cigar? I think we know the answer to this. Cigar or bong?
Bong, baby.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Gummy bears or Sour Patch Kids?
Both. Sour Patch
Oh,
Kids.
I like it. Texting or a phone call?
Phone call.
Thank you for playing. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us tonight. And hopefully, folks got to get to know you a little bit better. I know I sure have. And I look forward to seeing you this summer, bud.
For sure. Sounds awesome, Sherry. And yeah, if you guys want to check out anything else from me, I'm on the Poker News podcast every Thursday on YouTube with Mr. Chad Holloway here and Ben Ludlow. So if you want to check it out, we got a bunch of episodes archived. And yeah, we talk about all the poker stuff.
And it's fun to listen to. Those of us that are junkies for poker tune in regularly. I can guarantee you that. And what if somebody wanted to get in touch with you for coaching? Do you have a site, or do you just want them to DM you?
Yeah, so actually it's funny. Just DM me on Twitter for sure. And I just went through my Twitter DMs today. I didn't realize I had so many message requests. So I've said that in the past to DM me on Twitter, and I just looked, I have like 10 requests for coaching on there. So yes, Twitter's the best place, and I will be answering everybody tomorrow about my availability.
Okay, so the moral of this story is have patience. He will get back to you eventually.
Exactly. I got the sauce. I got the recipe. I got the good stuff. Might take me a little bit to cook it.
Well, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you and Chad for stopping in, and Michael and Kieran and Ryan and Kathy and Dop and Peter and Anthony. Thank you all for stopping in. ASG, of course, my co host, and Isaac. Appreciate all of you. If you're on the felt this weekend, good luck. If not, get out and touch the grass or throw a snowball, but get out and do something. Again, thank you, Mike. Any last words?
No, thanks guys. I appreciate you listening, and I had fun.
I'm glad you did. We're trying to keep some positive things going on here in the spaces, which at times is very trying. But I'd like to say we've been successful going on 3 years, and I'm proud of that fact. So, good night, everybody. Have a great weekend and Happy New Year.